Um, I think I've in terms of that part of my cultural identity, I think I've learned to rebel against a lot of that. Um, One of the things I remember specifically is when I went to Ghana in 2013. My grandfather is a tribal chief, and we went to his homestead. And in the room, you have him sit here in his house, and he has 6 or 7 chairs right next to him. And that's where me and my uncle sat. And then my mom, my aunt, my sister, my little cousin were all sat on a separate level below, and that really didn't sit well with me. And if anything, my idea of how I carry myself as a man has been a lot about making sure that I don't fall into those pitfalls, so to speak, of so I don't want to ever carry myself over any person in general just because of how society has made us second class citizens. So I don't know. If anything, that part of defining my identity has come from a rebellion against what the culture of my motherland had.
How much would you say your parents' cultural background played in shaping your perception of masculinity and what it means to be a man today?
Yeah, it definitely played a role in the society that my parents are from back in Ghana, and I would say most of Africa in general is more patriarchal, where the man is in charge of the family. The man sets the rules and everyone just listens. And that was definitely the culture in my house growing up. And I mean, I didn't necessarily like it, I didn't take it as this is what I have to be when I grew up, because I did have exposure to other families that were not black families, and I saw how mothers and fathers were seen as equal decision makers within a family house, where they shared different roles, whether it be cooking, cleaning, who brought in the money. And so I saw that there were other ways to live life. So it definitely did, it shaped my view, meaning it showed me what I knew I didn't want to be on that extreme. And so it made me look for other ways that life could possibly be led with a family.
In my identity, I think a lot of that's shaped by my culture. As you mentioned, that there's, you could be a West Indian black man, you could be a Latino black man. People would be appalled by hearing some of that, because black is black. But for me, that's been a part of my identity, something I'm still growing into now, because as someone who comes from a family of West Indian immigrants, specifically from Guyana, being a man in that culture varies as well. I think there's something that's really distinct for me through what my father has represented in a variety of ways. I mean, my father has children with other women, and I think when people think of West Indian, Caribbean men, that's something that's the norm for them. And yeah, it's problematic for a variety of issues, for a variety of reasons, but in some ways, within that culture, is something that's celebrated too. How many women have you been with, or how many, children you have in this place and that place, and my kid's doing this. I'll accept my child if my child has this level of success and that level of success. I feel like, for me, seeing that growing up, I had many assumptions about my father through that lens, and it's crazy because I'm living that life of being the child, being the son.
I think it does play a lot. One, I do want it to play in my identity because I think, like, I like to have it play in my identity in a positive light, because I don't want to necessarily only be seen as a black man. I want to have ethnicity behind me, where I'm from, my culture, who I really am, and what defines me and what values I hold true to myself. But in a negative light, it's definitely looked a lot into a black man. I think as a Jamaican, that first thought is, oh, you have to smoke weed. As a Jamaican black man, you have to smoke weed, and that's all you do is smoke weed. There's definitely that light in where, and even in relationships I am as a Jamaican black man, that you have to have multiple women, or if you're with one woman, you have to be still sleeping with other multiple women on the side, and in a way that mindset that a Jamaican men are dogs, a little more extreme than how normally they're viewed. So it unfortunately does, as most of the things, but it does play a lot in your identity. Do I let it so much in that negative way? No, but people still define me in that way sometimes, and their initial interactions and reactions and comments to me are trying to sort of force me into that group of that identity.
So yeah, I think the best way to approach this is just like, especially looking at the music that Jamaica produces, which I listen to a lot, and just the psychological effect that has definitely had on me. You're always, every song is either about guns or women, and there's certain rules and laws about, you know, what it is to be a man, and you know, you don't want anyone to ever think that you're feminine in any way. So yeah, definitely, you can't be sitting in your room lonely, don't have any girls around, and be listening to Vybz Kartel talking about a car full of women that he has. You know, it's stressful. So sometimes I've definitely heard a song and just been motivated. I'm like, all right, I guess tonight I gotta go to a bar and, you know, find someone to so that you know, I'm not this, so that I'm living up to this this image of what I'm hearing in the songs. And then yeah, I think being from the Caribbean especially, the roles of men and women is like very defined, and so that's definitely translated into my life here in America.
How much would you say you interact with the Haitian culture?
At school, not as much, because just kind of the nature of it, as more identifying with more of the overall African American black culture. A lot of that's what my friends are. That's because that's what my friends are. That's kind of what's more commonplace in like the society that I deal with, like the social media, the media, like what I see more just living in America. When I'm at home though, when I'm with my like Haitian family, things like that, it's like I'm right back in that culture, right back in that mix, and like hearing about what's going on in Haiti, what's how we need to continue to, like, my family's from Haiti, moving here, how we need to like continue to develop our own legacy in this country now. So like Haitian heritage is something that I'm really prideful of, but on like a day-to-day basis at like school and even like at home generally, it's not something that I have to like interact with. But I'd say it definitely shapes who I am as an overall person, if that makes sense, because it's like kind of shaping who I am on a day-to-day basis, but not something that I directly interact with on a day-to-day basis.
I'll speak from like my experience of like being an American African. My family's from Ghana, like I said before. My family's also very religious. Mental health is not, nobody ever brings that up. And like, if one is sad, like, you should like go pray about it, right? If one's depressed, like go pray about it, and then like be happy eventually. I don't think, I've never met like a person like the African community like that I've grown up in who's ever like really talked about like mental health, right? I'm not sure it's like not everyone can be like 100% up all the time. Like definitely people get down, but like people don't really talk about it, or they downplay it. They push it aside, or they push it in the back, and like just present like that everything's like okay.